Matt, that's a little blues riff in F sharp that I had written years ago. And the name of the song is Where Do White Boy Learn to Sing the Blues, Matt? Off the top of your head, great blues musicians that are Caucasian.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Bingo. I mean, there's a lot of them, right?
Dave Matthews.
Dave Matthews is fairly bluesy, for sure. Blues roots, right?
Yeah.
Eric Clapton.
David Bowie.
You know, we're going to get
Leon Russell.
Up on the high wire. Johnny Winter. Where the white boy learned to sing the blues.
Elton John, but we can't. He canceled himself. So
Elton John is not blues. Stop it. Here's a great story for you, Matt. Elton John.
Yeah.
Well, you know what he isn't? He isn't suitable for the surprise megastar for the Harley Davidson 75th anniversary party. As my buddy is a big Harley guy, drives a hog, was in Milwaukee, and the curtain came up, and everybody was expecting like some sort of ZZ Top type heavy rocker for the Harley Davidson 75th anniversary, and it was Elton John, Sir Elton.
There you go.
I guess it didn't go over so well. Anyway, I don't like riding motorcycles, Matt. It seems like a fairly easy way to easier than many others.
Yeah, if
I planted,
I'd probably kill myself before I got good on one.
Matt, congratulations to Alex Ovechkin. 800 career goal, right? 1-800. And he got a hat trick to do it. Unreal. I mean, I don't know if you've seen any of the documentaries stuff on him, but it's fantastic and we actually talked about this the other day, back to wealth in, not everybody that's wealthy lives wealthy in Russia or in Eastern Europe. I was talking about Vlade Divac when he went back, and he had his parents' house, and very humble abode. And Alex, with all his money, he has a nice house there, but he's swimming in the pond. I'm like, dude, put in a swimming pool for God's sakes.
Yeah, but that's what makes him great. He's humble. He's humble,
very humble.
Yeah.
And then I thought that when you shared this, I thought this was awesome. 165 goaltenders Alex Ovechkin has scored against. You want to talk about a white supremacy convention?
Well, there's a couple. There's one in the left,
lower left. Yeah. Not very good representation there.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well,
anyway,
but so you figure that, what is that? That's about 5 goals per on average.
It's unbelievable. Like nobody stops the guy. Nobody. Man, I wanted to talk a little hockey price discovery, but let me share, because I could not crazily.
Well, companies like Easton aren't public. There's not a lot of public, stick. There isn't really any anymore.
Let me share. And if Easton, by the way, if Easton is publicly traded, please.
It's not.
Right, exactly. And I had the same, and this is what I do sometimes, Matt, when we have an idea. I just go, now why can't I find it? Of course I can't find it. Oh, there it is. It is that. I just go, Google it. And MarketWatch comes up a lot, right? MarketWatch has a pretty good fundamental analysis. And this was a press release, hockey equipment makers, size 2022. But you go through this and these names that they give you, I can't find any price discovery.
Right.
So let's just go to Dick's. Why don't we just go to Dick's? Let me just tell you something. If you have a kid that plays hockey, like, you better be investing in something to try to make your money back on the cost outlay for your kid to play hockey. Not only that, good luck with your time, and good luck if you like to sleep in, as sometime that ice time is at very inconvenient hours.
It's either very late or very early. But it's a tough sport. It is a tough sport, and there's a lot of ugliness with the hockey parents too. It's probably one of the worst of all the sports. the hockey moms, especially.
Ready
I'm
to
serious.
fight, ready
I'm
to throw
serious.
down,
Like it's a bad situation.
ready to throw down.
Dick's, let's
And we
draw
are in the Christmas season, by the way. So
let's draw a little trend line, right? Let's for the trend line boys out there. Again, this stock has not been doing a heck of a lot. It's been rallying from the September low, and much like everything, we're at the end of this 2 months here. So, actually, this bottom when that was May, so that's been going up. But I think it's reached another level where I think the year of hell that is coming in 2023 should push this thing back down. Again, anything retail that looks like this, I think you can be not too afraid to sell the turd out of it. And it's up today. So why wouldn't you sell it on the day that it's up if you like the short story into 2023? Don't worry about if it goes against you the next 2 weeks, or you can wait, but just start selling it. The next month, I think, will be the last of its holding on between now and January 15th, when all their returns are put in and they have to give cash back for the shitty gifts that grandma got them.
wait a second. I'm a fairly big advocate of the sporting goods stores. I mean, when you were a kid, there was any better place to go into than a
No, you
sporting
didn't.
goods
You didn't
store?
have you didn't have places we like in Michigan we had Dunham's. Dunham's was the big like sports store.
Right on.
And the nearest Dunham's to where after we moved from Detroit to the burbs was probably 15 miles away. And God, I always was bugging my mom, let's go to Dunham's, wanted to check out shoes, New Balance, tennis shoes when those were hip. Remember that?
Right on. And then the smell of the leather in the baseball glove aisle.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
And then just checking out the Easton, $300 bats that, I could never afford, but I always dreamt of, and just holding one in your hands was awesome.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, Matt, sticking with the Christmas spirit, you shared this. And by the way, that's one svelte Donald J. Trump there.
That's the skinny Trump?
Yeah, I'm not sure when that picture was.
Well, there's 2 or 3 different ones, right? So, yeah.
But this is supposedly truth. Everything on Market Vitals.
Well, I wonder which of the Trumps is actually playing to that 2.8, because there's no way with that swing he's ever been a 2.8.
I find it maybe a par king, right?
Yeah.
Mini golf.
And I definitely don't believe anything about the 12 for Clinton or the 13 for Obama.
Liars.
None of it. None of it.
Sure. Well, the beauty, the crazy thing about golf, Matt, is that if you're a liar, it does you a disservice.
It does.
You should be like, I'm a 23 if you're a 13. Tell everybody you're a 23.
I mean, for me, when I was, in the days when I was keeping my handicap, that sucked when I got down to a 6 or 7, because I'm a horrible 6 or 7. To your point, I just got throttled in betting games.
Right. Exactly.
But I turned in my scores. I wasn't. All I did is turn in my scores. So
and there's adjustments and.
Let
me ask you a question. How's Franklin Roosevelt an 8? The guy was in a wheelchair.
Maybe in his early days. I don't know. Maybe
before he got stricken, because it was a rapid onset deal. And Joe Biden at 6'7", you couldn't put him on a golf course because he couldn't find his way off right now if you put him out there.
No.
Could not walk 18.
I've never seen him take a swing, so I can't speak to that.
All right, there is discovery here.
Maybe they should. If Trump was a true 2.8, you know what he should do? Let's settle this on the golf course. Who really won the election?
And then let's bring Bob Barker in to
for and against money, right? We'll set the lines. We'll do all the Calcuttas. We'll do everything, and let's just promote that thing. And they'll do it like on a Wednesday before the next live event.
Yes.
Which they just announced 3 new ones, much to Rory McIlroy's dismay.
All right. Well, let's get to some price discovery. Let's talk again in the season of giving. Somebody's getting a new driver this year. Somebody's getting a new putter. Callaway and Nike. Matt, I wanted to jump there.
I haven't looked at Callaway in a while. I think we probably looked at it last Christmas. What's your favorite Christmas song? Speaking of Last Christmas.
Favorite. Well, you know what I'm learning on the guitar for lead purposes only is Noah Well. But you know, I'm kind of my favorite Christmas album, Matt, and I don't have it anymore, was a CD. Was a Rhythm and Blues, back to the blues, a Rhythm and Blues Christmas, dude. It was fantastic. A Rhythm and Blues, Merry Christmas. Oh, just killer.
Well,
Rhythm and
Bob,
Blues Christmas
I don't know
album.
what's going on with my charts, but I'm
All right.
trying. Eli, this is all I'm showing really for, which is only the last few months. So can you bring up a different chart that maybe gives us a little bit more color, because I just am not seeing much beyond.
Eli's, all right, you know what I'm going to do? I don't have that right in front of me, but I do have two others. So let me share.
Well, ELY. I mean, I can show Nike and Under Armour too, but I just don't know.
No, Nike and Golf, Callaway.
Well, that I just showed Golf. Oh, maybe that's what it was. They changed the symbol. It used to be Eli. Oh, okay. So let's go with Nike first. And again, Nike has been selling off most of the year, 179, end of last year, all the way down. And I'll bring that one back up. Everything's working a little slowly here. Again, here's Golf. Again, peaked, looks like end of last year. And we talked about it. Peaked, probably sell off. Boom, it did. And had the rally here into the summer months, August, and boom, sell off again. This thing still hasn't sold off hard.
No, it really hasn't. I was noticing the same thing, Matt, that in fact, my Nike chart from a standard deviation modeling looks fairly bullish to me.
Well, this is Golf. I mean, it's still in a bullish mode. It's above, the profile here on a 610 chart, which is down here at 35. So I guess you can buy it down to 35. I'd rather be a seller, quite honestly. I don't like.
Of course you. Oh, there's a shock. Who had Matt wanting to sell something? Anybody? Anyone? Bueller?
Anybody?
Anyone?
Pays a 1.5% dividend. So again,
it's going to have to do better. It's going to have to do better
if you're making money. And then Nike, again, 179 all the way down to 80. Huge sell off this year, right to the value spot, by the way. Look at that ding, 82 and up.
Do me a favor, because you can do it quickly. Grab me some fibs from that all-time high to the low that they just put in. Because I think, for me, this is the one that looks a little bit different than Nike. I mean, Nike looks a little bit different than Callaway Golf.
Yeah, the 50s at 131,
okay,
142.
Yeah, I mean, it's for sure. It's come up rapidly here, which is a little bit of a danger, Will Robinson, to me.
Yeah,
when I look at the high,
rapidly. Again, that's $30. $30 is 45%. So
again, this is why we look at multiple, or I like to look at multiple methodologies, because although the standard deviation modeling on the weekly is looking bullish, until you can clear that high end of that value range, which is meaty.
I mean, there was trades here. This was a trade, right? You bought it at 82. Now you should be exiting it, though.
Absolutely.
Don't be piggish. It might get up to 131, but that would probably foretell a strong earnings announcement when that comes out. In December 30th is when they announce, it looks like, and December 20th. So just next week, it looks like they are rolling out earnings. So we'll know what's going on here. They're expecting 12.5 billion in revs. And again, this company is worth 177 billion and it's only doing 50 billion. So 3x on a retail. Seems pricey to me, Bob.
Well, not only is it pricey, it's suspect to a slowing economy, and it's suspect to consumer credit maxing out. So no more room for a new set of golf spikes, because there's no room left on the credit card.
Right.
And then, anyway, it seems to me that fundamentally there's have to be some giant hurdles, no pun intended, because they do sell track shoes also.
Yeah.
Matt, did you ever do the low hurdles? Because I know for sure you never did the high hurdles.
I don't do hurdles. I had a difficult time on the wood piles. I would fall and need stitches on my chin just crawling up the wood pile.
I'm sorry. That's not fair. It's not fair just to do that to the guy. Obviously not a hurdler, and I got to go there. Matt, let's go absolute horseshit. Absolute horseshit. And this is, let's have an argument. I'm here for an argument. No, you're not. This is abuse. Anyway, let me get back to it. Let me get back to the argument. Because this was shared in the network, and I'm a equal opportunity ball buster. 7 reasons to sleep on your left side. And I don't know that for sure that this is absolute horseshit, but I would like to see a double-blind study that can pinpoint 1 or 2 of these things to make me comfortable with it. It seems like the ginseng market here on 7 reasons to sleep on your side. And by the way, I generally sleep on my left side, so I'm okay with this being fact, not fiction. But this goes to a bigger story. Like, I have no problem with people sharing this, and it might make sense. Like, all these things might make medical sense, right? But the fact is, I don't think anybody's done a detailed study of this. First of all, how are you going to make sure that somebody stayed on their left side, and how much of the night do you have to stay on your left side? Right. I mean, there's so many variables. It becomes almost nonsense that there could be any fact here. From my point of view, that doesn't mean it shouldn't be shared, and that doesn't mean that I can't think about it. I got no problem with thinking about it, because a lot of stuff.
I like sleeping on my right, but I've been switching to the left because I've slept so hard on my right that I can't even raise my arm anymore.
Right.
It was not from throwing the ball; it was from sleeping on.
Because then other things are shared from supposedly reputable news sources. Fortune magazine sharing December 13th, people who skipped their COVID vaccines are at higher risk for traffic accidents, according to a new study. I saw another one out of Canada that said hot and cold both causes cardiac arrest.
Yes.
It's interesting that so many things are unhealthy and a very few things are healthy for you. It's not the jabs, for sure. It can't be that. Yeah. Let's be sure that we say that it could not possibly be untested long. Yeah.
So now when you get pulled over after you run into the curb, do they ask you, have you been jabbed? Is that like the first question? Right. No,
but I've been drinking. Okay, you can go.
Are they reporting that to the Central Digital Insurance Council?
I don't know. Matt, longer arc story on all of this, because I have to share. I got to share 2 things on this medical route. Some people call it tyranny. Some people call it other things. But that was this one. Hold on. There's my share.
Well, actually, you should go to the John Daly golf one, since we were talking about golf.
I didn't share that. I've seen it. This, again, from our favorite cartoonist, Bob Moran. Never surrender your right to be with the people you love. This was this is from 2021. A direct answer back to the ridiculous restrictions placed on all of us pretty much worldwide. Ridiculous. Anyway, check out Bob. And then another news here. I don't know why that's right in here. Ayahuasca. Aaron Rodgers continues endorsing hallucinogenic tea, saying it helped him overcome his fear of death, which now he sees more of a passage and less of an ending. For sure, what's ending is Packers' dominance, Matt, as the Lions have really overtaken that.
However, just to poke you a little bit, Aaron Rodgers did talk about how since he has been at Green Bay, they own the Bears, and they are now all-time 12 games above the Bears and winning.
Yeah, I know. Listen, so, you don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me the fact.
At least that didn't happen to Michigan yet. So we're still up. We're still up by about a dozen or so games after that last 2 decades of them dominating us, where we were up 30 or 40. So we gave back a little. It's time to buy Ann Arbor, sell the urban legend.
All right, let's. You know what? I'm going to leave up the absolute horseshit background as we move on in our discussion today, because.
I want to touch on this a little bit since we're talking sports and we're in the silly.
We're waiting. Season. Yeah, we're in the silly season of waiting again.
As we wait again, another day of waiting for another thing that we all know doesn't really matter, but we got to wait. Anyways, Barkley ripping on the Lakers, claiming it's a conspiracy how much coverage China gives LeBron, LeBron James and company's 4th loss in 5 games leaves them 12th in the Western Conference. They're horrible, dude. Who cares? LeBron, all he's talking about now is I'm going to play until I play with my son. Dude, wrap it up. You're done.
Hey, how about this? You should have played with your son when he was 5.
Exactly.
I don't know that that's the case. I'll take that back. I take it back. It just popped into my head. I'll take it back. Because he might have been a great father. He might have been present. I don't know. He might not have been at the United Center with 12 girls in a private area. I don't know. I don't know that to be a fact either. Let me go here, Matt. Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Gates funded MIT's Media Lab Development, CBDC, Project Hamilton, while SEC Chair Jen Gensler was the lab's senior advisor and taught economics with Glenn Ellison, the father of SBF's girlfriend and co-CEO of Alameda Research. Man, it's
the tangled web.
I have way more questions after reading this than I have answers. And I will. In the old days, the journalist would have been gone to work on this right there, dig into every one of those points, and let's find out what's going on. And then there's this, and the Fed, and this isn't like the Fed is actually doing this right now. They have a pilot program with 3 or 4 a handful of banks, trialing a CBDC, central bank digital currency. A Bank of Canada Governor old Tiffy Mecklem says in year-end speech today, the bank will be consulting with Canadians in 2023 on a central bank digital currency. Let me tell you something. If these Canadians don't understand what a central bank digital currency means, let me explain it succinctly. The trucker convoy, which took a while to shut down, right, and was shut down ultimately because they were able to freeze their bank accounts. Well, with the central bank digital currency, that process becomes a lot more seamless, a lot easier, and with less needed oversight, in my opinion. And I honestly think, Matt, that this is there was one of the great struggles that we've had is medical tyranny, right? But this is the next great struggle here. Control of your money. And to be clear, a central bank digital currency is a programmable digital currency, which means that if you buy too much gasoline, they can just shut it off from you. If you go to a protest that you're not supposed to go to,
they can paralyze you.
They can paralyze you financially.
If you didn't buy sunscreen and it's sunny out, they could turn it off.
Especially if you're an Italian like yourself that's supposed to tan. I mean, right away you're setting off alarms.
Yeah.
Right. Wait a second. The Italian bought sunscreen. Something's got to be wrong here.
Shut him down.
Shut him down. Anyway, Matt, I have no way to speak for. Oh, actually, I can speak to the fact that there obviously is a ton of fraud in the blockchain ecosystem, a ton of it. Yep. And crazy that the FTX thing is front and center, because I said it on the way in. It's kind of like the gold train being robbed. You don't blame the gold for the gold train being robbed. So I find it hard to blame Bitcoin in particular, and I'm just going to stick with that versus the rest of some of these scammy coins.
Well, so let's look at a couple of Canadian banks since you brought that up, and we haven't looked at them in a while. Let's look at the Royal Bank of Canada, which was the one mentioned there, and 119 was the high. January of this year, traded down to 84. Just had a really perfect rally to resell. So we are a few weeks late here because this was just the end of November, really, Bob. That would have been a good area to sell there. 101. It's already down to 906. But I still like it. I think it's going to go lower. I think it'll go much lower, as you can see on that chart. I think that we have a lot lower to go, especially when you pull back and you start looking at where these banks came from. Again, we kind of got to the level of where we were into COVID, which was right around 82. We got to 84. So that's the first test. The next test has to be this low that was put in March. So we have a long way to go. There's some big support around here, 70 to 80. So there'll be a battle there for sure. But this rally up to here is just perfect, just a perfect sell. And you're really into it right here. So if you can, you could either buy some puts or sell the stock outright. But there's a lot of ways I think that you'll be able to benefit from this next year. I think this will continue down. And then let's look at Bank of Montreal, which is the other larger bank in the Canadian environment. And again, kind of same numbers, really. It's interesting. Pricing is almost the same, which is weird. But market cap, and again, Bank of Montreal pays 4.7%. So at least you're talking about, a real dividend.
Real money. I mean, we talked about that on the way in. That I think the biggest hurt to the ecosystem in general was going to a zero interest rate environment. Like money has to mean something. It has to.
And I did trade this one, and when it rallied up here to 102, and it's now back down to 90. So that's paid off nicely. Just a fib number right back to the top of that profile too. So real nice. Two things, 2 for 1 there, as you like to say, 2 things confirming the same type of move. Lower highs, lower lows. We're continuing lower. It's definitely going to go to the 74. I'll ride it down to there at least, take some off, and then maybe put some back on if it bounces back to 90 or something like that. But that looks lower. And just to bring up the Royal Bank of Canada just to see what the dividend is there also. Again, not quite the same, but 4%, 4.06. So
again, man, I mean, you're going to have to compete for money. That's what realistic interest rates do. It makes people compete for money. Mm-hmm. So in 0%, why wouldn't you just throw it all into the stock market? What's the difference?
Right.
You got a better chance there. Well, now if you're getting 5 or 6 or 7%, why take the risk of the stock move? Right. I know it's important. It's important to keep that in mind going forward. That interest rates matter in a much bigger way than just just what it costs you to borrow. That's another thing. If your business isn't good enough and you need to borrow money for it, that's another metric for the worthiness of your business. Like, can you even generate enough profits to pay the money man? I mean, that's been a metric forever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and speaking of interest rates, since we have the FOMC in half an hour here, I think this is interesting. I think we've pulled back to the spot where now we can take off again. So I think inflation has bottomed, or, as far as the reduction the last 2 or 3 months, CPI, I think that has bottomed here at 7.1 or whatever that number was yesterday. And I think this chart lines up with it, right? 3.5 was the old high. We sold off. Now we're coming back to test 3.5 on the 10-year rates. And I think we're going to go see 5 on this. I think we're going to go trade 5, 5.25. That'll be the next move for interest rates. Inflation's not going away. They cannot start cutting. They cannot. So everybody's expecting 50. I'm not expecting fireworks like the CPI yesterday. I think it's going to be a dull number. I mean, we may move up or down, but I don't think it's going to really create some new pricing levels unless they cut 75 or raise 75. If they do that, then, we might see a big sell-off. I just don't think we're going to get the hose job today.
Oh, Matt, it is the Christmas season, and it's our season to bring light. We do our fair share of ball busting for sure. Mm-hmm. And so I want to step back and pay some homage to the light, Matt, to the light. Hold on a second. Let me stop busting balls.
Bring out your
Why are you busting my balls, Hans? And let's bring it up for the Christmas season. The emotional frequency chart. Again, let's try to all in the Christmas season. No matter how much your family pisses you off, no matter how crazy your friends might have become, no matter how delusional you might be, one thing is for sure, Matt, that you can look at this chart and understand that resonating higher emotionally is better for you, it's better for me, it's better for everybody. So, and that doesn't start, Matt, until courage like the cowardly lion. You got to find a little courage, neutrality, willingness, acceptance, reason, love, joy, peace, and enlightenment. Anyway, we like sharing it. And let me tell you something, when you find messaging coming your way that resonates down there at shame, guilt, apathy, grief, and fear, you understand that they are throwing the lowest form of energy at you. And please try to disassociate yourself from that energy frequency.
Hey, you know, I've got a couple thoughts. We haven't talked about Airbnb in a while, and I just want to kind of bring that up. Speaking of interest rates and products that can be, you know, trading names that can be affected by interest rates. This thing is just holding on by a thread. It had a rally from 87 to 130. Okay, and that was just wrapped up.
And by the way, how crazy is that? 87 to 130. I mean,
it's a huge move.
It's a huge move.
And again, not only is it huge, but it happened from June until, you know, September. So it happened in 3 months. And since then, we've been going down. So that just tells me that nobody's going out there, and, you know, the Airbnb traffic has slowed down, and you see it in our regional market. Like, you want to look at rentals now, the rental market for the long-term houses and et cetera has gone just exploded in a vacation town.
Right. Yeah.
To a vacation town like we live in, it has exploded, and nobody's renting long term because they weren't renting short term. And now those short term renters that were trying to fill their places at, you know, 1,000 a night are trying to get 15,000 a month. Good luck. But that's the mode that we're in. Everything, this, you know, this stuff plays out so slowly because real estate is so illiquid, my dear. It always has been. That's why I don't like it as an asset.
Let me just point something out. Let me point something out. Don't change the chart here, because again, we play this game all the time. How big was that value? I mean, this hasn't been trading publicly for a while, but it's got a nice value range. It's well distributed, right? And it goes from where the low and the high of that is.
Well, it's 123 to 215, so it's $90.
And so 123 less 90. If we redistribute in the same parameter to the downside, and I know you like just doing brackets, and there's a healthy bracket there that we could.
Yeah, there's a $40 bracket here. $40 bracket takes you to 47.50. So that's very likely, in my opinion. I mean, this thing's still worth $60 billion. Doesn't make a penny. I
mean, and honestly, too, when you look at that,
and again, does 1.8. You know, so that's what is that? 7.3 billion a year in sales, and it's, you know, trading at 8x, 9x, way overvalued when your revenues are decreasing. So, you know, again, watch the next earnings in February, but I can assure you they're not going to be pretty. That's what this chart is telling me. And if this falls even before that, or they warn before that, watch out. I mean, again, there's nothing traded below 87. So you get below that, what's your reference? To your point, I think it's $40. So that takes you down to at least 50.
Right. And the fact of the matter is, nearly every single person that has bought and hold this stock is underwater.
Every single one, except for the person that bought 87.68. He's up a little bit.
Oh, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to that.
I mean, and that's what's happening with Tesla. You know, we talked about it a couple of days ago. I mean, look at it. Once it fell through that floor, and now it's just dripping. Like what that 166 was holding, that was the old high, you know, from over there, that 177 level. Now we've traded all the way down to 154 today. And good Lord, $505 billion market cap, still a $500 billion, even though it's lost like a trillion and a half, because it was, I think, close to 2. But this thing's going to trade down to here. It's going to, and you know what? Elon's going to be puckering for sure. He's going to be puckering with all the people that are out against him now, and you know, the negative talk. I mean, why wouldn't this thing trade to $25? Why wouldn't it?
Wow.
Just the chart.
Physical. It's just, yeah, don't kill the messenger. I'm just showing you the chart. I'm just showing you the chart.
And then, you know, interesting, we talked about natural gas yesterday, gapping up. Please take profits on that gap. You know, and today I want to bring up Natty just to show that if you did that, now is a good time to probably step back in and pick up some again. winter is kicks off in about 6-7 days, Bob, a week from today, right? We haven't even started winter
Have not even started winter yet. No.
on the northern hemisphere. And look at that. Look, we filled the gap and we came right to the level that we should have stopped. Like we should have stopped right there at 635 or so. We went right down to 633 and we bounced. So if you're paying attention, that was a good trade there today. Right now, it's ongoing, and I'll show you in just a 1 minute chart. It pinged it. If you had your orders standing down here at 635, you pinged it, boom, and now you're riding back to the underbelly. Ditch it for 25 cents, Bob. That's 4 or 5% in about a day. What's wrong with that?
Hey man, when we talk natty gas, we have in the past always shared Leopold Heinrich, and let me share that. Let me share Leopold from today. This is 3 hours ago. He's sharing this chart, forward basis curve, California regional 24-month outlook, Citygate cash prices. They're higher than European prices in California right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody talking about that? Anybody? We've talked long and exhaustively about how energy prices in Europe are through the roof. But now California forward basis curve prices outpacing that of Europe. Good luck being short, Natty. Good luck.
And let's talk crude, because if you've been on board, you got a 10% profit opportunity, 70 up here to 77.75 today. And again, this would be an area that it might run into. Again, there's a large argument. I think this will trade up to 90 fairly quickly here. And no matter what Joe Biden tweets and whoever is running that puppeted account.
Yeah, he's tweeting like he's a 6'7" golfer, please.
I mean, yeah, he's not. Whoever's running it, stop, because your facts are way off. Even if we were trading 70, by the way, that's 40% higher than when he took office. So stop telling me you should be celebrating Biden has taken down gas. He is not. Gas is gasoline, RBOB, everything is 60% higher than when he took office. This is 51.69 is where he took office. So I'm not making it up. Let's stick to the facts.
You make up a lot of stuff, just not that.
Let's stick to the facts on oil.
The facts. Just busting some balls here, Matt.
Yeah.
On a Wednesday, while we all sit on our.
But the point is, this chart is very bullish. If you get it in here, you're not going to take it down. The world situation is not good for oil right now, and it's only going to get worse. To your point, we need more of it, and we're trying to stop using it, which makes no sense. So even though we may have economic demand destruction, we still need more to run our businesses and heat our homes and everything around it that is related to crude. So this isn't going away. And again, I wish, at some point that unless it's trading under $40, then he can claim he's reduced the price, and then we can have some celebration party. But you look at these charts, I mean, we got to go up here. We got to go to 150. We're on the way.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Anything else, Matthew? Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? I got nothing else. I got nothing else to give. That's all I got. That's all I got. Lee, Mark, anybody, anyone, Bueller? If not, Matt, our hands will be unsitted on here in 20 minutes. They're rallying them a little bit right now. I'm not sure how they can be dovish with everything going on in the world, but maybe no matter what they say, people will anticipate it as being dovish or read it as being dovish. I don't know. I don't know what to think. I'll let the market decide.
That's all you can do.
That's all you can do. You got to live in the present. You got to trade the chart that's in front of you, not the chart that you want to see develop. That's what we got. Please visit us at marketvitals.io. Please share, retweet, and plagiarize far and wide. Please go to Amazon.com and buy some Shrimp Mojo or the Manja bundle and get yourself some bacon habanero ketchup to throw on anything. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Lee. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Bobby.